Finally, I've been able to find that man who holds the key to my happiness in the next 48 hours, because he's the man who can give me 2 clubhouse complimentaries for the 22nd match. Welcome, Boria Majumder.
Look who's talking. I was about to ask for tickets and he's putting the ball in my court. Typical Gautam, the best anchor.
Don't trust him. অনেক টিকিট আছে, এটার মধ্যে থেকে বেরোবে নিশ্চয়ই।
একটাও নেই ভাই, কোথায় টিকিট? তুমি তো দেবে আমাকে। আমি তোমার অফিসে এসেছি, তোমার থেকে চাইবো।
Who travels with a media contingent worldwide, not just in Kolkata, Bengal or in India, all over the world. He is telling me that he does not have tickets. Don't trust him. Yes, cricketing analysis wise, absolutely trustworthy. But টিকিটটা দেবে না মনে হচ্ছে।
আরে কখনো হয়, আমি টিকিট পেলে গৌতম দা আমার আগে পাবে।
Boria, কিরম হলো অস্ট্রেলিয়া ট্যুর? How was it?
Very good. I mean, দেখো, not the result you wanted, but in terms of a tour, মেলবোর্নে 4 লক্ষ লোক টেস্ট ক্রিকেট দেখছে, দিনে 80,000 লোক। You have been to MCG 25 times in the past, you understand, পুরো প্রিসিংটায় মানে লোক টেস্ট ম্যাচ, ওই ধরনের ভিড়, প্রথম দিন 87,000, পরের দিন 85,000, দ্য ম্যাচ গোয়িং টু দ্য লাস্ট সেশন যেখানে ইন্ডিয়া হারছে। সো মানে in terms of the whole flavor of the whole thing was brilliant. Sydney, first day 50,000 people, second day 50,000 people, third day all pink, and তার উপর it was different because I had the whole team with me, 7-8 people for the first time. It was their cutting of teeth experience for the first time in Australia. I think Test cricket as a brand is alive and kicking, and that was evident.
Yeah, but Boria, I'm afraid that again this white ball razzmatazz, it has arrived, and all the learnings, lessons in Australia, all the disappointments might just be forgotten, because now we will be playing white ball cricket for quite some time. And this perhaps will go down the era.
I don't think so, because for 2 reasons. One, had there not been the England series, you would have been right. But because you have an England series in summer, the BCCI also knows, and from what I understand in the review meeting, there was a lot of time spent on the England series. They know that, and that's the start of the WTC cycle.
Yes.
If India loses badly to England in the 5-test series, 1-4, 0 something, that will dent Indian cricket big time. And because it's straight after the IPL, I think people's consciousness will also not kind of forget the defeat in Australia, and more importantly, the defeat against New Zealand at home. So I don't think people will be as forgiving as they were in the past. If you see, already people are saying, why is so-and-so playing the Champions Trophy? Why is so-and-so playing the IPL? Why not getting ready for England? So I don't think red ball cricket will be forgotten. I think there are many learnings from Australia. I think at one level it was Bumrah versus Australia. Your batting was horrible, whether it is from the top, Rohit, Virat, except Jaiswal, to a degree Rahul. All of the others were not on, in terms of their talent. Rishabh Pant came good only in the second innings at Sydney. This batting lineup gives me real scare when I think of the 5-match series. Moment the ball will move in England, and it's early summer, it's not even late summer, 20th June in Leeds, the ball will move. Who is the person who will stand up for India? Is it Rohit? I think he has played his last test. I can say this, I think Rohit is done as far as test cricket.
So Rohit will not lead India into the next England series? No.
Rohit will play the Champions Trophy as captain, and I think that is the end of Rohit Sharma as an India player. IPL different, but that will be the last. It will be the swan song. As far as test match cricket is concerned, the question is, will you invest in someone like a Bumrah whose body is fragile? If you do, and you logically should, then and that is why they are taking time, because Bumrah was in the same flight as in the Singapore airport. In fact, we were in the same lounge. So, and Sanjana and I, as you know, we worked together in Star. But because I was with family, he was with family in the lounge, and we didn't speak to each other. But having said that, so he came back on the 9th night. He will now, from what I know, take rest at home, not go to NCA straight. Okay. He will take rest at home for at least a good 10 days, because there is back swelling, there is nothing more, no fracture. So because of the back swelling, he will take rest at home, then he will go to NCA to get assessed. The reason India did not announce the Champions Trophy team is because they are giving him time, him and Kuldeep Yadav. My understanding is Kuldeep Yadav will get ready by the 25th of this month. Bumrah, if you ask me, is not playing the Champions Trophy. Bumrah, according to me, is not playing the Champions Trophy. He will play the IPL for Mumbai Indians, and thereafter he will play the England series full on. That's my assessment. And I think India should not risk him. If there's one player who is indispensable at this point in time from the perspective of Indian cricket, it is not Kohli, it is not Pant, it is Bumrah.
Okay, let me put you in a spot. You are Gautam Gambhir. You are going to play two spinners in Melbourne and Sydney, and your number one match-winning spinner just goes away. Won't you stop him? Won't you do everything to, sort of tell him that, look here, we need you desperately, and make him that understand that the team actually cares for you?
Very good question, and there's no question of being in the spot on this one. I think communication left a lot to be desired in Australia, and I'm not mincing words at all. If you take the Rohit Sharma incident in Sydney, and I've written about it, I've spoken about it. By the way, and my video of speaking to Rohit Sharma went viral, where people thought, I was asking too many. I didn't. All I asked was, "Tu bat karne kyun nahi aa raha hai? Tu captain hai. Abhi bhi tum captain ho. Why are you not coming to the nets and batting?" That is all I asked him. And he said, and then I said, "यार speculation चल रहा है तुम्हारे बारे में." And he told me 17 साल से speculation चल रहा है मेरे बारे में, आपको पता है. If I was India, I would have had Rohit Sharma sitting with Gautam Gambhir in that press conference. Let Rohit address the media. Let him say, "I'm standing down." Why is he doing an interview with the host broadcaster one day later? Why is it that Gautam Gambhir has to tersely answer the media when an Australian journalist asked him, "And what about Rohit?" His answer was, "My answer remains the same." What do you mean? You knew about it. Your answer can't remain the same. He's your captain. Treat with dignity, grace and respect. I think all of the three things were lacking. All of the three things were lacking in the way India conducted that whole Rohit Sharma. The same with Ashwin. I think communication in Australia, from what I've heard, I can't reveal more because there are things that one can't say, but I can tell you this much: communication was not at any acceptable level between the management and the players, and it left a lot to be desired, which impacted performance to a significant level.
But what do you mean? Management also includes the captain. So if you're talking about Gambhir, what about Rohit Sharma?
Because of the fact that by the time the team reached, say, post Adelaide, Rohit Sharma was no longer in control.
So it was just basically one-man management?
It was, no, not one man. There was Abhishek Nair also. Okay. There was the support team also. So it is not a one-man Gautam Gambhir and then you blame him. See, my understanding of Gautam, and Gautam's close to me, my understanding of Gautam is, I will never say Gautam doesn't have the Indian cricket interest at heart. He does. But Gautam's way of handling the media or Gautam's way of communication is not the best. Is not the best. If I see the way he was at the press conference, the body language, for example, the way he was conducting himself, for example, wasn't friendly. You have to keep the flock together. If you see the Ravi Shastri story, he was able to keep the flock together under adversity, right? I did not see that. Maybe Gautam will improve. Maybe things will change for the better. I have absolutely zero doubt in Gautam Gambhir's intentions. But the way things were projected, for example, Sydney, that nets, if you were there and I missed you there, I can tell you this. When Rohit Sharma walked out for the 10-minute batting session the day before the test match, you would have realized this is a lost man. He had no idea what was happening. He went into bat. In the next net, somebody was bowling. Each time in the next net, somebody was bowling, he was pulling out. Can you imagine? So his view was there.
Mentally
he was not there. He was not there. India's captain was mentally not there. Ravichandran Ashwin, leaving in the middle of the series, did not set a good example. The thing that we got, Ashwin coming saying, "I'm leaving last day," this is not the way things are done.
Is there any possibility of, supposing Ashwin does well in IPL?
Zero chance.
No chance of coming back?
Zero chance. I've had conversations with him. I can tell you this. I have spoken to Ash multiple times since the time this happened, and I can put my money on anything. There is 0% chance of Ravichandran Ashwin reconsidering.
Staging a comeback, you mean?
Zero chance.
I would still give it a 20% chance.
0% chance. 0%
Let's disagree on that. If he does well, if he is persuaded, if he is told that the team environment will be conducive, he might just.
No, he won't. And I will also tell you this. He's, by the way, coming to our conclave, the Trailblazers conclave. You will be there. If you ask him, his answer will be, "I have no regrets." He'll say that and he will not come back.
Ironically, Gautam Gambhir had the best of relationship prior to accepting the Indian coach's job, both with Rohit Sharma and Ravichandran Ashwin. Isn't it ironical?
See, it happens when you are head coach. It happens because the pressure is premium. Anil Kumble, Virat Kohli. Because there's one alpha male in the dressing room. It was always going to be the case, and it's not new. And I've written about this. I've written multiple columns. That is Gautam Gambhir going the Anil Kumble way. Could well be a possibility. If India loses the Champions Trophy, the pressure on Gautam will be humongous. And if something happens in the England tour, chances are it will. England are favourites, make no mistake. Gautam Gambhir has very difficult 9-10 months in front. You go and ask him, he'll say, no, my team will fight, and he'll put up that face. But the truth is, he's under enormous pressure at this point in time, given what has happened. And see, the Border-Gavaskar Trophy defeat doesn't hurt me so much. What hurts me is the New Zealand one. Because you are expected, theek hai, chalo, Australia. And that tells you how good Ravi's team was. That tells you how little we have credited Ajinkya. Ajinkya has kind of disappeared from the radar. It was Ajinkya who won you the 2021 series.
What are the possibilities of an Ajinkya Rahane or a Cheteshwar Pujara again staging a comeback in the selector's mind and border flight to England?
10% maximum. Virat Kohli, I do see him in England. But my point about Virat Kohli is, I was having a chat with Sunny Bhai, and Sunny Bhai was telling me in the press box that let him play domestic cricket and all that. But even if you play the Ranji Trophy, for example, now, what will happen? Nothing. Because you will play on the 23rd, you will play on the 30th. After that, you are playing, like you said, 4 months of red ball. Yes. So what will you do?
White ball.
White ball? Yes. You will dab there, you will get a single. So you will not get caught, right? Yes. There will be no second slip, third slip, etc. So what you need to do is, after the IPL, and by the way, I am delighted India is not in the WTC final. Because that would mean you are going within a week and you are gone. Yes. Now at least you have 4 weeks to prepare for that tour of England. Yeah, if I was Kohli, I would go and play for the India A team against the England Lions. That is my best way to prepare for the England series. Now you will tell me, but he's played the IPL, he's played 14 games, 2 months plus if playoffs. How can you say one player has to continuously play? That's a different matter. But if Kohli has to do well in that red ball series against England, and my question is, if he doesn't play for India A, will you still pick him? The retirement question is the player's call. But now let's put the selectors on the spot. Do they have the guts to say to a Kohli, we will drop you if you don't go and play the India A games? Put him in the spot. I don't think you should allow anyone except Bumrah the freedom to pick and choose. Whether it is Kohli, whether it is Sharma, whether it's anyone. Play domestic cricket. In the absence of domestic cricket, go play county. In the absence of county, go play the India A games. Get ready for the England tour and make it a point to turn up.
You know, we have had 2 very tough selection committee chairmen in the past. We had a Vengsaka, who was pretty tough. We had even a Srikanth, who was tough, who had they told Ganguly, and they devised HR plans so that the 4 can phase out with, keeping a gap in between, so that all of them do not retire around the same time, which Shashank Manohar had devised in 2008. Subsequently, we had Srikanth, we had Dilip Vengsaka, we had Sandeep Patil. Now is it the time for Ajit Agarkar to stand up, face the music, take the right call, and not even get afraid of any superstars? Do you think the time has come for Ajit Agarkar to step up?
He has to, otherwise he has to go. He is accountable as much. I mean, if you today say, look at India's selection, and it was the most baffling selection of all. You went with Washington Sundar, Nitish Kumar Reddy and Ravindra Jadeja in Sydney.
And number 8, you are playing a batting all-rounder, unthinkable.
And all-rounder, right? You use the word. How many overs did Washington Sundar bowl in Sydney? True. 1 over, which was the last over of the match. Yes. Michael Clarke tells me it was the spiciest wicket ever. Yes. Ever.
And you played 2 spinners.
You played Jadeja, and India should have played, if you want to play a special, play a Harshit Rana. How many runs did Washington Sundar give you? 13 and 10. Play a fast bowler who would have given respite to Bumrah. Hit the deck. In Adelaide, you should have played in Adelaide. Akashdeep, you did not, because kiss the deck, you went with a Harshit Rana. In Melbourne, where you should have played a Harshit Rana, you went with an Akashdeep. In Melbourne, you went with 2 spinners. You batting cumulatively, Nitish Reddy, Washington Sundar bowled 27 overs in 4 innings in Melbourne. I thought selection was baffling, selection was wrong, and the selectors are as much accountable because Ajit was there. So it's not as if Ajit was not having inputs. Now, in England, what is the planning? Put a plan in place after the IPL. The moment the teams that lose out, send the batters. You have to go and acclimatize, you have to go and train, otherwise India will be in a same spot. So and by the way, our problem is we criticize Rohit and Virat, everybody else sort of flies under the radar. Shubman Gill doesn't deserve to be your number 3. He plays that shot against Nathan Lyon and gets out. By the way,
average outside Asia is 18 apparently.
Nonsense. That shot against Nathan Lyon, 1 ball before lunch. You get out in Sydney, which is a track where Lyon will bowl 2 overs. Second innings, you are stepping out to Bo Webster to almost half the pitch to deposit him in cow corner when Rishabh Pant is batting beautifully at the other end. Shows no game awareness to me. I am told Shubman Gill is your next white ball captain, by the way. After Champions Trophy, apparently India will invest in Shubman Gill as captain. If that is the case, show more game awareness. So all of these batters, whether it is a Gill, whether it is a Kohli, whether it is anyone, you have to put your hand up and be counted. At the moment, I have not seen that. And the selection committee, every step should be put under the cosh because the selections have been baffling.
Is it also end of the road for Jadeja? We keep on talking about Virat and Rohit. What about Jadeja?
At home, no. At home, you still need someone because if you see the Bangladesh series, if you see the New Zealand series, I think Ravindra Jadeja has cricket
series,
left.
Ashwin was the man of the series.
Correct, but Jadeja contributed as well with the bat. Even in Australia, he got a 77, and even in Sydney, he got a 26, playing 95 balls. So he was gritting it out. So I don't see Ravindra Jadeja not playing or not having the mettle to play. But yes, maybe a couple of years. I do see Akshar Patel pushing him, because Akshar Patel was not part of the like for like. So I do see Akshar Patel there. I do see Washington Sundar pushing if there's one spot. I do see Nitish Reddy, if he adds a couple of yards of pace, becoming India's Ben Stokes equivalent in England. So not immediately, but I do see a phasing out of all of these senior players in the next 1 year.
India's support staff, forget Gambhir, who has quite a distinguished career in white ball and also played 58 test matches for India. আমাদের যে সাপোর্ট স্টাফ টিমটা আছে, এটা কি ভারতবর্ষের শ্রেষ্ঠ সাপোর্ট স্টাফ টিম? Your Abhishek Nair has not even played 1 test match and you're sending him to Australia.
এই প্রশ্নটা ভ্যালিড গৌতম দা, বাট পার্সপেক্টিভটা না। বিকজ দেখো, অ্যান্ড্রু ম্যাকডোনাল্ড অ্যাজ হেড কোচ অফ অস্ট্রেলিয়া has not played a test match.
Okay.
But Andrew McDonald as head coach of Australia, if you go and ask Australian players, they'll tell you is brilliant. So it's not a problem that you've not played international cricket. But the question is very valid. Ami jokhon dekhi, and I've asked this question on my shows many times, when I see in the last 2 months in Australia, I don't see a single fast bowler having improved under Morne Morkel.
So do you want to say that Morne Morkel is better than a Bharat Arun?
Not at all. According to results so far, absolutely not. Because if I see Morne Morkel versus Bharat Arun, 18 and 21, and look at the fast bowling crop under Bharat Arun, at this point it's a 10-0 in favor of Bharat Arun. What is Ryan Tenduskarter's role in that team as assistant coach? I have asked this question 1 million times. So is there accountability? Will their families be allowed? I am now told that the board is becoming very strict and saying families will not be allowed in a 45-day tour more than 2 weeks. Will support staff be allowed to travel with families? What is the accountability of a Ryan Tenduskarter? What is the accountability of a Morne Morkel? Because Indian cricket has to ask these questions. For the longest time, we have been soft.
Thank you so much, Boria Majumder. খুব ভাল লাগলো এত ফ্রি উইলিং একটা কনভারসেশন শুনে, বাট টিকিটটা দিও কিন্তু।
গৌতম দা লাস্ট মোমেন্টে ওই ট্রাম্পটা খেললো, অফ ক্যামেরা আমি ওকে বলবো তুমি দাও।